In the year 2030, magic was once seen as a fantasy, but now it is a commonly used technology. Significant drop in temperature leading to a lack of food and other resources. The world population fell to 3 billion at the start of the Third World War, but because to the cooperation of magic practitioners around the globe, the Third World War was ended. In Okinawa in 2092, magic was a technology that was fiercely contested. Tetsuya and Miyuki begin their first day of instruction at their first high school in 2095 as Miyuki watches from the air defense system room as Tetsuya bombs an entire fleet that is coming their way. After receiving a low grade, Miyuki is worried about her brother being enrolled in Course 2. No matter what Miyuki says, Tetsuya tells her there is nothing she can do about it and wishes her luck for her speech as the freshman student's representative while passing the time by taking a stroll around campus. Tetsuya assures her that practical fighting abilities, not test scores, are what matter at the entrance exam. Two girls who are passing by gossip about him as a weed and a poor student. Before the ceremony, Tatsuya takes his seat in the auditorium and notices that Course 1 students have their own seats and are separated from Course 2 students, a clear sign of segregation. Later, Tatsuya runs into Mizuki and Erika while waiting for the ceremony to end. Tatsuya also notices that Mayumi, the president of the student council, is wearing a CAD, a device used for unleashing magic. She spoke as the first-year student representative. Due to their similar commanding gazes and/or stunning appearances, Mizuki surmises that Tatsuya's sister is the freshman representative. Tatsuya then realizes that Mizuki has an excessive sensitivity to spirit particle emission, an ability that allows its holder to know people's secrets and look inside their spirits. Tetsuya stops Miyuki from asking her brother if he is dating anybody by reminding her of how unpolite her remark is. Also approaching Tetsuya, Naomi expresses her want to speak with him in depth at home. Since her father hasn't called, Miyuki freezes the kitchen and cooks in annex. Tatsuya calms her down by reminding her that it's highly unlikely they'll ever get a call because Tetsuya refuses to work for his father's business. The following day, Tetsuya and Miyuki visit a temple where Tetsuya practices his taijutsu and spars with a group of shinobi. However, the master Yakumo teases Miyuki and rattles her, calling her a flower. In the class, Tetsuya is approached by Leo, who starts by asking him what his magical skills are. Tetsuya responds that he has little magical ability but aspires to be a magic engineer. When she hears this, Erika is amazed. The scene then cuts to Tetsuya lying flat on the ground exhausted. Yakumo is attacked by Tetsuya just as Bud is about to open. The two engage in an epic battle. Tetsuya is having lunch with Leo when he asks her who she is, and she responds by calling him a man. Erika and Mizuki Tetsuya simply goes after school, but Miyuki requests to join them and is mocked by other Course 1 students for wanting to share a table with Course 2 students. Miyuki apologizes to her brother Erika. Even though Leo and Mizuki are fighting with Course 1 students, Morisaki brings out his cat to attack Leo first, and Erika disarms him before the other Course 1 students can intervene. The head of the disciplinary committee, Mary, decides to take their statements because head-to-head magic attacks are illegal in this school. Tetsuya jumps in and apologizes, telling her it was all horseplay and to leave. When students begin attacking, Hanoka stops them and activates her CAD ready to attack after reading her activation sequence. Before his sister can intervene, Tetsuya tells her to stand down because there is no need to attack. Murasake is completely perplexed after hearing this. Tetsuya responds that Hanoka's attack was just a flash spell with significantly reduced potency when Mary questions why she tried to activate her attack if this was all just play. Tetsuya appreciates Mary's amazement at how he can read the activation sequences as they are being launched and says that he is adept at deciphering magic. Mary then comments that he is skilled in deception, and Tetsuya responds by saying that Seed is out of his league because he is simply a worthless course. No matter what class he is in, Tatsuya says that just being admitted to this school makes one a skilled magician. As a result, from the moment classes start, pupils are either honor students or irregulars like him. Naomi interjects and defends Tetsuya by reassuring Mary that using magic to educate others is perfectly acceptable. Hanoka then apologizes for what happened and commends Tetsuya for skillfully preventing the situation from escalating. The following day, Tetsuya and Miyuki are invited to the student council room for lunch and are introduced to Rin, the school's treasurer, and the secretary, as you saw. Tetsuya decides to let this incident slide and tells Tetsuya she'll remember his name as she walks off. More Saki rants and tells Tetsuya and Miyuki sound more like lovers than siblings, according to Ren. Tetsuya jokingly declares that he would prefer to have Miyuki as his lover rather than his sister, making everyone cringe and his sister blush. Miyuki agrees to join the student council and requests that her brother be allowed to join as well, but they refuse because her brother is a minor. Miyuki is invited to join the student council by student Mayumi. Mary jumps in and says there's still a vacancy in the disciplinary committee. She thinks Tetsuya is a perfect fit for this position. Tetsuya looks at her brother for a moment and tells Mayumi to give that position to her brother given that her brother is more talented than her. Rin says that this is not possible since officers of the student council are chosen from among the Course 1 students. When the school bell rings, Mary says that it's alright because she's in charge of assessing strength. Tetsuya muses on the invitation and speaks about it with his friends as he practices using his magic to pull a cart. However, he's too slow at it, so he starts considering declining the post. Mary invites him to swing by again after school to continue this conversation in class. Following school, Tetsuya and Miyuki went to the student council room to speak with the vice president. Before Mary transports Tetsuya to the headquarters of the Moral Committee, Hattori ghosts Tetsuya and addresses Miyuki in full. Hattori objects to Tetsuya, a first-year Course 2 student, becoming a member of the committee who has no course. Tetsuya has never been placed in such a rigorous position before since she lacks the requisite practical abilities, to which Mary responds that there are various types of practical skills. Tetsuya is qualified for the role and a potent deterrent to lawbreakers. Mary also wants him on this committee for his emotional intelligence and expertise at reading activation sequences directly. Tetsuya can also identify what kind of spell is about to be activated. Discord between Course 1 and Course 2 students as a result of the educational system's preference for Course 1 pupils. Tetsuya is an ideal fit because Mary won't let this prejudice continue, but Hattori is stubborn and insists on not hiring her. Miyuki intervenes and stands up for her brother. Prior to Miyuki's response, Tetsuya interrupts her and challenges Hattori to a duel, shocking everyone in the room. Hearing this, Hattori becomes agitated and accepts, vowing to put Tetsuya in his place. Minutes before the duel begins, Hattori plans his attack and how he's going to cast his spell to knock out Tetsuya. Miyuki then apologizes to her brother. Right before the duel begins, Mary goes over the regulations. Hattori begins strategizing his assaults. He'll unleash a speed-oriented, straightforward activation sequence and then cast a spell to knock Tetsuya unconscious by sending him flying back meters. Hattori becomes arrogant and believes he has already won the battle even before it has begun. Following the duel, Tetsuya reveals that he unleashed some compound waves that clouded Hattori's perception, causing him to lose consciousness and hallucinate. When Hattori regains consciousness, he apologizes to Miyuki. Mary signals the start of the duel. Hattori begins activating his magic spell as planned, but the duel takes a turn when Tetsuya moves behind him in a swift manner and knocks him out with his. Tetsuya joins the Public Moral Committee and is introduced to Kotaro and Midori. The next day, Mary calls a meeting and orders the Morals Committee to patrol the school on the club's recruitment day. When Murasaka sees the two, Mary threatens to take drastic action and punish them severely if they engage in further fighting. Tetsuya then requests to wear two cats to use magic, which Ma agrees to. Tetsuya watches a fight between Mabu of the Kendo Club and Kirihara of the Kenjutsu Club in Italy. Mabu wins without using magic, but Kirihara attacks Mibu with his Sonic Blade spell. Tetsuya steps in, knocks him to the ground, and reports him to the Disciplinary Committee for an appropriate use of magic power. Later, Erika is saved from being harassed by school club members by Tetsuya and is taken away. Kenjutsu members then assault Tetsuya in unison, but Tetsuya easily defeats them all, impressing the Kendo Club captain Sukesa. Turn on notifications and subscribe if you want to see part 2 and other content. Recaps of all your favorite anime programs that you don't want to miss.